Good morning, everybody. So this is day 9 update. So again, I'm showing you. So I'll do the same brief I normally do, but if you want to stick to the end, I'll do a longer video and I'll just provide like a quick overview of my electrical system in this video. So if you're interested in any of these electrical devices I got on board, like just let me know which one you want to know more about, and I might do a video specifically for that. So as you can see, still perfect sailing condition. What's tough right now is the angle. The way the waves and the wind angle are coming at me, I'm having trouble balancing my Genoa, and so sometimes it flaps in the wind, which I don't like because it overstresses the sail. And it's also, the wind's like just a little tad too strong, and it tends to go stronger in the afternoon for me to throw out the code zero. So maybe I should try to do it in the morning. I'm not sure. I'm trying to preserve it, but right now I'm averaging only 5 knots. I'm showing you that's a squid that actually jumped on the boat at night. Sometimes that happens. Flying fish will do that also a lot of times. So yeah, the weather is perfect, but the sailing conditions that with the wind angle and the wave are a bit challenging. The quick and easy answer would be to throw out the code zero, but it seems like just a little tad more wind than I'd like, and again in the afternoon it's not good. So slowly but surely I'm making way. 125 miles yesterday, so that's better than the 110 I did the other days. It's not as much as I expected. I thought I was going to get into the 150 range. The autopilot's been working fine, but the wind angle is kind of difficult. Where I have to sort of watch what I'm doing with the Genoa because it's flogging in the wind, and eventually, like I'm worried that it is going to tear itself apart. I'm also worried that there's kind of enough wind to go with the two sails, but there's too much to put the code zero up, and in that wind angle, I don't have a whisker pole, and it's making things difficult to do better progress these days. I'm trying. At some point I'll try something else. I have to keep making way west. Eventually, when I turn around and I start heading south, I hope I'll get a better wind angle. Just quickly show you see the Genoa is furled. That's something I have to do sometimes to just prevent it from flapping around in the air too much and giving too much hits on the rig. So it's just in the nature of the waves I have. You see, I kind of have a following sea, and it's a bit of a chaotic sea, and the wind not being strong enough to really hold the sail inflated, but being strong enough to be too much it's just too much to hold the code zero in. So I'm trying to find a solution to that in my mind as to how I'm going to rig this boat so that I can make better ways. Progress. I'll include the link in the description. So as you can see, I'm moving forward fairly well, and I'm heading towards bigger, stronger winds. So that's going to be welcome, actually. Might help me move a bit faster. I thought I was going to, I tried to do a jibe and try to get down south here to try to get a better wind angle, but that didn't kind of work, and I was getting slower and slower. I'm mixed between going here and setting myself up to use the code zero, or going here and using those big winds to go faster and indeed in a safer way, because my two mainsail, the Genoa and the mainsail, are very, very strong, very solid sails. I mean, when you throw out a code zero, you're always taking a risk a little bit because it's a lighter, more fragile sail. So I guess I'm heading towards this, and I'll of course, like, higher winds are sometimes a bit less comfortable. It shows 7 knots here. I don't think that's correct. I think that probably is just a systemic error. So if we move towards the routing, I haven't put the correct. Oh yeah, that was correct. That's actually my position right there. So let's see what it gives us for routing this morning. Again, you're seeing Starlink in action right there. So it's basically sending the data, and then I think the routing gets computed in the cloud, and then it gets downloaded back. But I think it's a fair chunk of data that needs to happen between my computer and the cloud system of Predict Wind. So let's just see what it tells us right now. All right, so we got this. So again, we see that the weather pattern, it shows clearly here that both options are valid. Like you can either dart south and get yourself in lighter air, or you can use those stronger winds up here. And like those models are kind of suggesting that both can happen at the same time. Now the critical part is here as I move forward towards this. What does it say here? Oh, there's lightning over here. So that's something to worry about a little bit. So see, I was tempted to go here, and then I saw this warning. You know, I like those kinds of wind and those kinds of condition, but if there's going to be any lightning, then I'd rather be away from there and go further west, which is perfect for the angle that I'm doing right now. So I guess everything is fine. So let's just see, because this is the critical part of the passage here. So that's the ITCZ, and you can see that there's no wind here, and you got to really select your time in order to cross that at a suitable moment where you're going to have wind to make you go to the Marquesas. So what Predict Wind does is that, from what I understand, I'm not a specialist in Predict Wind, but it seems to me that it looks at the boat speed, and it says like, okay, with those winds that we got here, this boat is going to arrive here at that time, and what is the forecasted wind here at that time, and it gives you a routing based on like a very finicky, you know, calculation of all these vectors and all that kind of stuff. So let's see what it says here in terms of wind, because what's critical is to see, am I going to get any wind when I go through here? So right now it looks like there are, like that's enough wind for me to get going. It's not a lot, but they're talking, what do they say, 8 knots. So 8 knots of wind in those conditions, if there's no lightning and if there's no thunder shower, that's prime code 0 sailing right there. So the code 0, and the area is not very wide. So see here, so 5 degrees, so 158 here. Yeah, one minute. Yeah, 158 and north, and what are we here? That's 3 south. So from this distance here, that's 4. So 5 degrees here is 300 miles. So 4 is a bit less than 300 miles. So that's like less than 48 hours if you maintain 6 knots, which, I mean, I'm not going to maintain 6 knots, but I'll probably be at 4.5, 5 with the code 0, maybe even 6, you know, if the wind's a bit stronger. So I would look at less than 48 hours to cross the ITCZ, which is dreamy. Like it's really a good deal. So hopefully that happens and that materializes. It's been in the forecast for quite some time, so I'm kind of confident that it's going to happen that way, because, you know, as you get closer to a forecast, now we're still talking the 24th of April, so that's still in 5 days. It's kind of ways out, but it's been forecasted that way since the last 5 days, so I'm starting to trust that might be what's going to happen. I'm going to be really sure that that's what's going to happen when I get a 48-hour forecast. So when I'm on the 22nd and I see a forecast for the 24th, and that's just me. It's not a law. That's just something. So this forecast, 5 days, and it's been forecasted that way for the last 3 or 4 days. It starts to be trustworthy, but not really. But once I see that forecasted on the 22nd, then I'll assume that that's what's going to be the weather. And so that's how I think about the weather, and it's never done me wrong. Like, and I find these models that we get on the internet to be quite precise. Like they're very now you got to give it, you know, a knot or two here and there, or an hour or two on the timing, because it's a huge area that they're trying to forecast. But I find those to be very, very accurate. So let's just see what, if we move forward here. Still forecasted to be good wind, and then you get back to the other side, and even the ITCZ is getting narrower here, which is also like a very good thing. So let me just check what course they're suggesting here, because I want to know, like, what. So they're saying 253 true. So I must be tracking. Yeah, I'm doing that exactly right now. I'm exactly on that course. More or less, depending on the wave, how it pushes me around. And that's the thing, like I'm saying, it's difficult right now because I'm on the suggested course, but I have trouble stabilizing my Genoa and my boom. There's just not enough wind to just really pin the sails down, but enough wind to and enough wave to kind of move the mast around, so I get backwinded once in a while, and that's what you hear, maybe the hits. So that's the forecast, but I guess we've gone through it, but that's more of a localized thing. So that green dot is the position I was in this morning. Let's see what's coming. We're Wednesday, so you can see that I'm out of what was forecasted here to be some very, very light wind. I'm forecasted to get a little lighter, and that's the 24-hour mark. So I'll have wind. I'll have wind, and I'll be able to make weight. That's all I need to know. Now, we can look at the extended range forecast, but we already did. See if I stayed here for any number of time, but I won't, because I'll be further out here. But I could get swamped in this like light air that they've been forecasted for quite some time. So that's part of the coastal Mexico effect, where it gets unstable. But as you can see, I'm right at the edge of that, and that's for Sunday, and we're Wednesday, so I won't be here. I'll be in around here, and that's reliable forecasting because it's within a reasonable time frame window. So what's that? Oh, that's my AIS picture, so that's pretty cool. So as you can see, I'm right here, and I see SV sailing yacht Kukla. He just turned and he's heading south right now. I'm not exactly sure because that wind angle seemed... Anyway, so we might cross today. And this is what I use the screen for. I just want to have a general picture of what boats are around. Of course, there might be other boats around here that don't have satellite AIS capability and don't have AIS capability, so they don't get relayed. But I've been tracking Hukla and this guy here, what's his name? Lightspeed? Yeah, Lightspeed for the last 2-3 days. They were behind me and they're getting ahead. So, I mean, I hope these guys are bigger than me and I have a fair excuse on why I'm slower than them. Or they're getting better wind, or back when I didn't have my autopilot, then I had a fair excuse. But anyway, who cares? So the cargo ships again. So I just look at that and I try to make sure that, you know, there's not a ship that's like really close to me that's gonna affect my my safety in any way. And right now that's the case. I'll just keep an eye on Hukla all day to see if I don't see him coming from my starboard side. So that's that for the weather and the AIS picture. Now let's go to check out the energy setup. So right now I'm charging at 36 amp, which is good. It's my first day I have sun in the last 3 days. So right now I'm trying to get my battery back up into the power zone. The battery got pretty much depleted, not fully depleted, but deeply depleted, maybe more than 50%, like probably 60% last night. I didn't have to load shed because I still had some ways to go on the battery, but right now I have the hydro generator in the water, and the solar is getting like 388 on the big panels and 176 watts on the small panel, with the hydro generator probably supplying another 7 amps of that, so that gives us like an excess energy status. So when I mean excess energy status, I mean everything that the boat consumes in terms of power plus what we're producing gives us like a net intake of energy of 30 amps right now, up to we've seen 40 in there. So all in all, I'm in good shape. I'm happy about all that. It's pretty cool. And if you stay with me, like I'll give you an overview of all my electrical systems and how they work together, so that I won't go deep in any of the elements of the setup, but I'll just give you a general overview of what setup I got, what's producing power, and what's drawing power, and what's regulating that power. So if you stick around, I'll get to that.